Coming up next, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It's your comments and our feedback to what you done said on last week's episodes. Feedback Friday starts right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday here on Fight TV and YouTube. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero for Friday, Feedback Friday.
Yes.
For Friday, January 20th. That is today, isn't it?
It is today. How about that?
You know,
oh boy, here we go. You campaigned for the man.
it's almost like, let's say you're in a happy, loving marriage for just a mere 8 years.
Sure.
And you lose your spouse for some reason. You know, they're no longer on this earth. And then you sort of meet somebody else and you say, I guess. And then you regret it, but you're stuck with them for at least 4 more years.
Oh,
That's a scenario I feel we're in.
They have creams for that, though.
You know, did you watch the inauguration? I can't even say it. Did you watch the Abomination earlier?
I thought it was well done.
What part?
Everything. It was like a rock star show.
On what network?
Well, it wasn't on Fox.
It wasn't on any BC level celebrities. They had I'm not going to start. You know, here's the thing. Because I'm not going to stoop.
You don't think Carrot Top's a star?
I am not going to. I think Carrot Top is a star.
Okay.
He is. Have you seen Carrot Top perform ever?
Yes.
It's actually a surprisingly amazing performance that Carrot Top gives. I wouldn't have thought it was as great as it is, but I'm going to say this. I'm not going to stoop to the level of our president-elect. I am going to give a chance. I'm going to respect the office of the presidency of the United States because someone has to.
Yes.
And I'm going to embrace new ideas. And to be honest, not everything that he said is throwing me off, to be completely honest with you. I think there's some potential in some things. But while he is
Why are you
still
getting so political all of a sudden?
While he is still tweeting, it's Inauguration Day. It's Abomination Day. While he's still tweeting in the morning and not realizing the violence that the violent impact that his tweets can have on a nation, on a world economy, I can't respect the man in the office that I do respect.
Okay, give me an example of a tweet.
Give you an example.
Violent.
You need to follow a Twitter account called Presidential Trump. It is a person who, this is brilliant, by the way, who takes Trump's tweets, retweets them, and then says them in a presidential way. It's brilliant. The best Twitter account I've found in years. Just follow that, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, come on, stop it. There is stuff we, on this internet show, we don't say on Twitter because of the ramifications that it would cause. Right? There are tweets you've wanted to send out, tweets I've wanted to send out, not about news or things people, just stuff. It's like, can't say that because you take that pause and you think about the impact. As citizens, we can do that. But as highest elected official of the greatest country in the world, you can't. And why did you get me? Why did you have to say it's Inauguration Day?
Because
it is, but that is not factual or relevant to the Feedback Friday episode that we're about to embark on.
A lot of feedback on this Friday.
We are talking about the wrestling world, ladies and gentlemen.
Play
Let's
the
get
piano
to
or something here?
your comments. And I'm like Aaron Ricks. Let's get to your first comment. My neck hurts. That's how heated you got me. Good gosh. I was having a great day. Skipped all the coverage, didn't see a moment of the ceremony. First comment, folks, comes to us from a YouTube user by the name of Bishop Lives. You can read along, David Hero, if you like, about this comment because it is for you. And I quote, "Don't you see a Daniel Bryan comeback for one more match at WrestleMania to sign off his career? As Miz always has a go at Bryan on each show, it seems logical because Daniel Bryan didn't have his retirement match and it ended abruptly. Maybe it will be his role as SmackDown GM on the line, with the stakes being higher and the building story for WrestleMania." Interesting scenario if
Absolutely
Bryan gets that match.
Daniel Bryan has had seizures. Okay? The last thing he needs to have a seizure in the middle of the ring in Orlando against The Miz.
It's a risk
And
the company
doctors
just can't
are not
take.
going to sign off on it.
WWE doctors won't.
Yeah.
It's a risk he just can't take. What does Daniel Bryan, in your opinion, though, David Hero, do when his contract expires in WWE?
Well, he'll stay there.
Is he really?
Oh my! He'll never be a bigger star anywhere else.
But he's been as big a star as he's going to be.
But he's still going to get a hell of a paycheck. He's on TV every week.
Why go back to a Ring of Honor? Why go back to a New Japan or wherever else he was? Because he's been there, done those, and been champions in those organizations.
And those guys
already.
kill each other.
Yeah. He can't take that risk. He's smart enough to know. I think here's what I really think.
First of all, his wife is pregnant. He has a child on the way.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to risk that.
So
that's selfish.
The question that I was going to ask is, so he thinks, it wasn't a question, it was a statement. He thinks he should still be able to wrestle, does Daniel Bryan.
I'm sure he does.
No disputing that fact. WWE won't let him because they think it's too big a risk. He knows that he has wrestled on a high level, a tremendous level in the past. Mm-hmm. He can't wrestle in the organizations we just talked about, but he certainly could wrestle in WWE if they weren't too afraid of the risk.
Well, sure, but they're not taking the chance of a guy that has seizures, that has had multiple neck surgeries. It's definitely not worth it. It's insane. It's crazy. And again, Brie Bella is not going to let him get in the ring knowing they have a child on the way.
Well, he already done his part.
He has to raise that child.
It's just recommended. Next, thank you, Bishop
Maybe
Lives.
That's what you do.
Thank you, Bishop Lives on YouTube. Now, next comment to us comes from a user by the name of Quentin Classic. Quentin Classic with a K, David Hero. Mm-hmm. He says, this again, it is about The Miz, which we didn't talk about as it pertains to the last statement, but he says, and I quote, if you really think about it, The Miz is the only true heel in WWE. I wonder if Meathead actually sent that in. What I mean by that is that he is one of, if not the only, superstar that gets completely booed. He's not like Owens, Cena, or Reigns, where you have the people split on how they feel. Miz legitimately gets booed in every venue, country, and continent he's in. Having said that, do you think it would be in SmackDown's best interest to actually put him back in the role of top heel?
No.
I'm not sure you could argue the points he's making,
he's been great, but I mean, the Miz has been fantastic, and he is probably one of the top heels on SmackDown.
If he's not the top heel, who is the top heel? Based on the
AJ
clarification.
Styles.
He gets cheers. Based on the way Quentin Classic put it here, he's right. I can't think of anybody else who just gets flat, straight boos with no crossover appeal that is in The Miz on SmackDown.
Baron Corbin.
Well, you're right. Nobody cheers him. You're right. But he's no Miz.
No, he's not. He's better. He's bigger. He's tougher.
It's all about size for you. Thank you for that comment, Quentin Classic. Another user on the Tubes of You, GGDFHM. What do you think that means? GGD.
Good God damn. I don't know.
I think it's good God, David effing hates me.
Could be.
And I quote, I still think there's a lot of Miz talk. The interns did a good job picking the comments this week. There's like a theme. They roll together. It's fantastic.
Obviously, they were lazy.
I still think The Miz wins the Royal Rumble this year. Let me repeat that. I still think that The Miz wins the Royal Rumble this year. I thought it as soon as he dropped the Intercontinental Championship to Dean Ambrose. I predict it will be...
That's why good God David effing hates me, because he says stuff like that.
I think it will be similar to the 92 Rumble finish as to where Miz and Goldberg will be the last two, and Lesnar will come back down to the ring and aid in Goldberg's...
Ric Flair winning.
Yeah, but similar to the finish.
The Miz is like Ric Flair.
He's not saying that. He's saying the finish could be booked in the same fashion, if you will, in similar fashion.
But Ric Flair was a megastar.
So I think I posed this question to you last week, David Hero. The chances of The Miz winning the Royal Rumble, not that I am convinced he will, but I think he is a viable candidate.
Never going to happen.
Now think about sitting here in 2 weeks' time and having to admit to the world audience.
Wrestling's predetermined.
Having to admit to the world audience that you were wrong and The Miz won the Royal Rumble. How would that make you feel, David?
I'd feel that WrestleMania is going to suck.
You've admitted that The Miz is as great as he's ever been.
Yeah, but he's not a headliner for WrestleMania right now.
Rank the heels in WWE. Is Miz in the top 5?
Braun Strowman. He's one of the top 5 heels.
How? Because he's big and has a beard?
He's been killing everybody.
Fans don't care about Braun Strowman yet.
Chris Jericho.
Great heel.
Kevin Owens.
Great heel.
You can put Miz in the top 5 right now. Yeah, you can.
That's saying something.
He's like 5B.
Thank you for that comment, YouTube user GGDHFHM. We are going to take a time out, ladies and gentlemen. Let this one simmer down a little bit. And when we come back, I'm actually going to share. David, I watched the main event between Okada and Kenny Omega from Wrestle Kingdom 11. I watched the main event. And
do you have subtitles on?
No, I watched the XS TV version with Josh Barnett and Jim Ross. And we're going to follow up on our comments about that show on last week's primetime right here next on Feedback Friday when we return.
The biggest party event of WrestleMania weekend is back. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash presents Shenanigans Orlando. Join Nash and his friends for a huge VIP party Saturday, April 1st. Party with the biggest stars of wrestling at the pub at Point Orlando on International Drive to kick off WrestleMania weekend. Don't miss Shenanigans Orlando, hosted by Kevin Nash. Tickets are available now and going fast at PWRshow.com. That's PWRshow.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Feedback Friday here on Friday, January 20th, 2017. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. And David, have you calmed down? Have you simmered down? Have you exhausted your heat yet?
Yeah, I'm better now.
But I don't know why I didn't think of this or know this. Here, I know why you hate The Miz so much.
Why?
It was because, picture it, Raw, 2011.
Yeah.
When The Miz cashed in his Money in the Bank as an endorsed talent and became the WWE champion. And then it was WrestleMania 27 when The Miz beat The Rock. Beat John Cena to retain the WWE championship the way this guy said it was going to happen all along. That's your hatred for The Miz, isn't it?
Honestly,
he cost you a draft. He cost you your credibility on this show.
I thought The Miz was be the first guy to ever not cash in the title.
You said that. You were adamant about it, much as you were adamant that he's not going to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you this way. Let me ask you this. Let me holler at you, player. Mm-hmm. Is there any chance whatsoever, including a snowballs in hell, that The Miz wins the Royal Rumble?
No.
You're not going to leave a .034%?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
He might be one of the last 4 or 5 guys in there.
Folks, last week on Primetime, we talked about your infatuation with the Wrestle Kingdom 11 event, and specifically the main event for the championship, the IWGP Championship, GP Championship. And I said I had not watched the match yet, and that I was going to watch the main event matchup. And I did. And I did so on Access TV this past Friday. And here's what I got to say. JR put it greatly on his podcast this past week, which his podcast released on Tuesday on Podcast 1. He said, was it the greatest match I've ever seen? I don't know. Was it one? I can't name the greatest match I've ever seen. But watching this match, I see both sides of people's equation on it. Firstly, it was a spot fest. It was choreographed, as all wrestling is, but it was that unbelievable wrestling that Jim Cornette talks about a lot. It was a lot of flips, a lot of elbows, and a lot of, I'll catch you, then I'll do this, and then I won't sell anything you did to me. There were 713 finishing maneuvers in that matchup, and all of which should have ended the matchup over the 40-minute time frame that it occurred.
Match?
It was a long match, absolutely. Great. Was I entertained for the entire duration of it? Absolutely. It was fantastic. It was great. It was a great 2017 wrestling exhibition. But was it the best wrestling match I've ever seen? Absolutely
Did it tell a story?
The story that was told, if any, in my opinion, was that Omega could do it. Omega could do it. Omega could do it. What else would Okada have to do to keep the championship? And then it was 3 of those lariats. I can't remember the name of it. The Rainmaker, the Rainkiller, the something, whatever. 3 of those, maybe a 4th. And the match, in my opinion, ended sort of abruptly. I think there was a loose story there, but the story was secondary to the flips and the moves.
Gotcha.
And if that's what wrestling has become,
it has.
I'm not going to go Cornette on you here, but if that's what wrestling has become, then we're never going to have another greatest ever wrestling match from the era of when the matches were great. I was not edge of seat, dying to see who was going to win this matchup. I was edge of seat looking for what next spectacular move they were going to do. There's a big difference between the two. Now, I am not knocking the matchup again. I was entertained. I thought it was great for what it was, and I thought both men did a tremendous job. But when you kill a man, first with a punch, then with a bat, then with a knife, then with a handgun, then with a shotgun, then with a machine gun, then with an Uzi, then with a flamethrower, and he doesn't die until you actually kick him in the knee, that's the problem I have.
That is the problem.
So anyways, be that as it may, no offense to anyone who thought that was the greatest match that they've ever seen, because it could be yours. That's your opinion. This was my opinion.
They may not have seen many matches.
If I take that match and I compare it to Undertaker-Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25.
It's a no-brainer.
Undertaker-Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 was a better wrestling match than this wrestling exhibition that occurred at Wrestle Kingdom 11. My opinion.
You're so pissy today.
I'm not pissy. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I was entertained by it. I watched it. I gave the time to it. I was told.
So that match is not going to make wrestling great again?
Let's go to the rest of your comments, though, ladies and gentlemen. And the second segment of the show is brought to you by the Shenanigans VIP Party. Shenanigans VIP Party coming to Orlando, the MCO. I was in Orlando last weekend, David Hero.
Yes,
actually.
I heard.
Yes. Finishing up
I
some,
saw you and Mickey had a cool photo op.
I did not see the rat. I was hanging out with my favorite friends from DC Comics over at Universal.
Really?
Yeah, I rarely go to Disney.
Universal's Marvel.
Did I say DC?
Yeah.
Absolutely did. I meant Marvel. Every time I go to... I am
drunk?
a mark. No, I was not drunk. I'm a mark for Captain America. That should be a widely known thing.
He's black now, you know.
His race has nothing to do with him being the greatest superhero that will ever live and has ever lived.
I didn't say that was a problem. I just told you what he was.
Every time I go, I make it a point to go to Islands of Adventure so I can get my meet and greet, my photo op with Captain America.
How'd that go this year?
It went great. We got a picture.
Yeah.
What's his face for? What are you not saying? What are you implying? You got some kind of problem because I want to go get a picture with my idol as far as superheroes go, Captain America?
Why is he your favorite?
Why is he my favorite?
Yeah.
Because he is Americana. The pride I have in this country, he shares. He is America, all summed up in one person. He is America. He is America. He is Captain America.
Because he's chemically enhanced.
At least he's not a mutant or doesn't have to wear a suit or a belt or a cape or is from another planet. He is this country's hero. And the only one that there should ever be.
So you don't like illegal aliens? Is that what you're telling me?
I have never met an alien. Have you?
Of course I have.
From which planet?
Oh, from Mexico.
That is immigrant into this country.
They're called aliens.
One party refers to them as aliens, the other refers to them as
Wasn't
immigrants.
there a little kid in Miami named Alien? Remember that 5, 6, 10 years ago? From Cuba?
Alien Garcia.
See? Alien Garcia.
It wasn't Garcia. That's
Doesn't make a
Lillian
difference.
Garcia. You are entirely too much. So, to that point, ladies and gentlemen, what we were just talking about with my thoughts on that Wrestle Kingdom main event, we had a comment from a YouTube user by the name of Exactly with 3 X's, Ecstasy rather with 3 X's 69, who says,
That's
and
creative,
I quote,
isn't it?
Wrestle Kingdom does have all those other things, and you would know that if you watched it before you crapped on it. What I said was Wrestle Kingdom doesn't have the pomp and circumstance that I expect out of a wrestling show. I still don't think it did after watching it. So I didn't need to watch it before crapping on it. I'll crap on it after watching it, even though I never crapped on it. I just simply said it didn't have what I needed. I find it funny that us, will talk about TNA and Ring of Honor, but won't talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is the number 2 promotion in the business that their show covers. Under what rating system are they number 2 in the business?
I don't know.
Television ratings here in the United States? Attendance here in the United States?
I mean, how could you, even if you saw the ratings in Japan, you can't read them.
I am bilingual.
Oh,
I speak Japanese fluently.
I did not know that.
Konnichiwa. So thank you for that comment, Ecstasy69. I appreciate your opinion. Final comment of the day comes from another person who wants to talk about the Royal Rumble possible scenarios. And this one comes to us from a YouTube user by the name of Thor.
Ludvigsen.
Yep. Who says, and this is a bold statement, Cena wins the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. The Undertaker returns and wins the Rumble and challenges Cena for the championship.
Which I said last week.
Career versus championship, though, at WrestleMania. This year might be the year Undertaker retires. Or another scenario, David Hero, AJ Styles wins at the Rumble. Undertaker wins the Rumble, challenges AJ for the championship, but it's not a career versus championship match. That would only be with Cena.
I think AJ and Taker could be great.
Yeah.
Because AJ can create so much motion in the ring.
Exactly.
You know?
Explain that. Create so much motion in the ring. What do you mean by that?
Because he can do so much. He can make it easier for Taker. He can get up off of his feet for Taker easier. He can do some high spots. And, much like how Shawn Michaels did for Taker at 25. Created the motion in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for those comments, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this journey of Feedback Friday. I want to remind you to subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Report by clicking on that gimmick right under Dave there, and you will become a subscribed user for free of the Pro Wrestling Report on YouTube.
What's the smirk for?
Also want to remind you to comment on our episodes, and your comment could be selected to be a part of Feedback Friday next week when we come to you again. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter. I am at Damian Nelson on Twitter, real name. At David Hero on Twitter, real name. At Linda K22 on Twitter, real name. And at PWR Show on Twitter. Don't forget, though, while you're following us on Twitter, you'll see Shenanigans VIP party coming to Orlando on Saturday night, April 1st. No conflicts, folks. No conflicts at all. If you're going to NXT, you'll still have plenty of time to get down to International Drive and come to the party that goes until 2 a.m. at the pub at Point Orlando. It is the only party event that everyone will be attending WrestleMania weekend on Saturday night. What's going to be different this year? People are going to have WrestleMania hangovers now from the Shenanigans party.
Yes, they will.
We've been on Fridays for the last several years. We will ensure you, though, that WrestleMania doesn't start till 4, 5, 6. Plenty of time to roll out of bed, have some Pedialyte, get a cup of coffee, and head on down to the Camping World Stadium for WrestleMania. For that one, ladies and gentlemen, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next week for more episodes of the Pro Wrestling Report.